people who believe like if I want a woman who will allow me to be a man, let me go to another country because the women over here can. And those come and seek out good relationships and date to marry these people because that is what they're looking for. That's the intention. For me, I'm going to date with intent. And then there's now passport bros whose main intention is to take advantage of their resources and have as much fun as they can. So it's a spectrum. You cannot find two
Oh.
passport bros on the same level. Now the problem with passport bros is that a lot of these people are not looking for love, right? A lot of them are people who are looking to go and have fun, and they're trying to see. They think that the countries they are going, they'll find those women are just stupid and easy to manipulate. Huko Kenya wanakutazanga na kina Wambui ile mbio wanaletwa. But yeah, so it's causing a clash of cultures in Kenya because I think there's this assumption whereby they're assuming that because they're African women, they're supposed to behave in a certain way.
The issue of African Americans now living in Kenya is becoming an actual thing. They used to go to West Africa mostly, but now you're seeing a lot of them moving to Kenya.
Or East Africa.
Yes, and there's a good side to it, but there's also some social issues that have started coming up. Especially with this group that
Passport
are called
bros.
Yeah,
passport
there you
bros.
go. Yeah. Mika, tell us who are passport bros. Who are passport bros for people maybe who don't understand? Mika,
they're brothers with a passport.
Passport bros.
Tell us about passport bros.
Break it down, Mikasi.
Adi?
Tell us about passport bros. Kwa wale watu hawajui passport bros ni kina nani?
Passport bros is a term that's been it's how can I say it? It's people who travel out of the country seeking for love, seeking for it's basically, and it's usually the African American community. So the passport road is like, how to say, dating overseas. They leave the country with the intention of going to find love overseas, and for them, they feel that the typical American woman has just become undateable. So they usually go to other countries and they want to see if they can. They say the women over there are more humble, much cheaper. They understand much, and then they feel like they're exotic. They feel like they get their worth. They feel like they're worthy. They feel here like the women over here don't see them as well. Now the problem with passport bros is that a lot of these people are not looking for love, right? A lot of them are people who are looking to go and have fun, and they're trying to see. They think that the countries they are going, they'll find those women are just stupid and easy to manipulate. Huko Kenya wanakutazanga na kina Wambui ile mbio wanaletwa. But yeah, so it's causing a clash of cultures in Kenya because I think there's this assumption whereby they're assuming that because they're African women, they're supposed to behave in a certain way, and you don't realize that these women are also modern. They've learned, they're modern, they're mature, and they understand. They're smart, very smart, and they understand their worth. So you can just come because you're an American, you have a few dollars that you're going to treat them or get them cheaply, whatever way you assume that's going to be easy for you. Because they used to get this privilege in Asia, and I think in Asia, it was cut out. Those countries they were going to, the women got wiser to it, and Eastern Europe. So now their target has become Africa. And Kenya is a place whereby if you get somebody from New York and took them to Nairobi, they'll survive very easily. There's both sides of life. There's the high class life and there's the low class life. There's everything. There's every part of it. So they will survive. They will live easily. So passport bros, hey, passport bros hao ndo wamejaza. Sasa hao ndo wanaenda Kenya. Those are the ones who are
Wachana wakutane na waboi.
Now,
Yeah.
I think also there are, like people who genuinely want to go there and settle, but then there's a small group that's online and that's very notorious that are doing certain things that are now starting to raise concerns for some people locally, and I think that's where like there's some confusion, because there's a very big group. The character, I mean, the people who are coming has changed. When you look historically, most of the Black Americans used to come to Kenya were either there as diplomats or on some kind of professional assignment or church or something. But now, since COVID, there's a new, like just the new average person who has saved up some money is going. So one other thing that they're confusing is that they are confusing they're confusing the fact that the women want them. They're confusing it with the fact that they actually, where they are right now, they actually have money, and that's part of the reason why there's people who are drawn to them. Because let me tell you something, if you're broke and you go to Kenya, I can guarantee you're not gonna get the same attention that you're getting when you don't have money. So I think that's a part they're confusing, because a lot of them, like are people who've saved up some money, and they can spend. So yeah, in Nairobi, if you can spend,
and Nairobi is expensive.
Nairobi is expensive, but some of them are from New York. So
okay,
yeah.
Let me ask about this passport bros. Do they have jobs?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They're
They're all working remotely, and they're making money in foreign currency, so it's cheap for them to live abroad.
You know.
Oh.
The thing is, passport bro is like a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Originally, when it came out, it was more of like these are men who have chosen to seek out foreign women, typically from other countries for relationships. They believe that the Western women have been influenced by cultural and societal pressures to behave in a certain way, and that by seeking out foreign women, they can find a more authentic, fulfilling, and harmonious relationship, because they see them as they see that it's a way to restore natural balance between masculinity and feminine energy, and they felt like the foreign women are more down to earth.
Basically maintaining the patriarchy.
So basically, the people who believe like, if I want a woman who will allow me to be a man, let me go to another country because the women over here can. And those come and seek out good relationships and date to marry these people, because that is what they're looking for. That's the intention. For me, I'm going to date with intent. And then there's now passport bros whose main intention is to take advantage of their resources and have as much fun as they can. So it's a spectrum. You cannot find two passport bros on the same level, like on the same. There are those who are good, there are those who are bad. Now the problem is that, as everything else, the bad usually outshines the good. That is the one that is amplified more. Yeah. So when people speak passport bros, they just assume this is somebody who decides that they're just going to a country to get laid as much as they can.
Yep. Okay. And what do you guys think about this movement of now Black Americans who are not only Black Americans, just Black descendants of slaves from different parts of the world? Like we have Afro-Jamaican from Jamaica and people from different who are now seeking to settle in Africa, specifically in Kenya. What do you think of that idea, or how do you think people back home are relating to that idea?
Honestly, I don't know. I think there's a time I was for the idea, like, yeah, like, welcome, come back, right? But as with any immigration, which even us migrating here has had this negative effects, right? And it's easy to kind of get stuck on that. Why are they moving? Is it just to.
It's not economic.
It's not economic.
It's not economic.
So for them,
they're
it's
trying
just
to
more
they're coming
social
back home.
to connect. Okay.
No, they're coming back home.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have to remember, they've been born in a place where they've been unappreciated
True.
and where they're being disrespected. So
True.
they feel like that's a place where this is home.
Yeah.
This is where we came from, and we're gonna have a comfortable life here.
Is there? Okay. Honestly, I'm fine with it. Like living with under racism, this is crazy. I think
Yes.
if it was not for economic reasons, we would not be here.
Yeah.
Right? At least for me,
Yeah,
I will not be
absolutely,
here.
yeah.
Right? So I totally get it. If you just want to, like, I have enough money, I can live somewhere else and I don't need to be part of this, it's fine. I think my hesitation has come because of that nation. That there's a guy in Uganda right now who was like in Kenya, they moved to Uganda. You know, I don't remember his name, but I know we've talked about him.
Or the guy who is a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Ken Ganda.
He turned me off completely
No,
about that
no.
movement.
I
right?
mean,
At first I thought, oh, look at this African American who moved to Kenya, then Uganda, I had this podcast, is talking about like but then once the elections came around, I was like, what are you, like, I've never had the moment of like, please go back. I had with him.
Even before the elections, even the way he was talking condescendingly about people back home, you know, like women there were so many things and that's just one individual.
Yeah.
But
okay. I think mine was the one single source of data. Him kind of turned me off around it because I'm like, are you bringing benefit to the new community you're going to, or are you bringing division?
The challenge with Americans who go, and I sometimes empathize with them on this, who go to other places, is this American exceptionalism. And sometimes it's something they're not conscious about.
Yeah.
In America, the way people are cultured, the way they are taught, is that you're the best, you're the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
So anywhere you go, you'll be going to solve problems that they have.
Yes.
That's how an American mind
Ali
is.
is being politically correct.
But he's right, though. But he is right.
He's being politically correct. There is a sense of entitlement with people who are moving back, with diasporans who are moving back to Africa and settling in Africa. When they get there, they expect to be given a red carpet, and they expect that everything is supposed to work with them without wanting to work with the rules of the law, with the law of the land, right? And so there's that sense of entitlement that which is causing the clashing that is we can see right now with most diasporans who are trying to go. And by diasporans, I'm not just meaning us Africans, I'm meaning African descendants of slaves, African Americans. In that there is that entitlement because, as Aliyah said, they've been raised in America. They've been told that Americans are the best in everything, and they go everywhere. It's happened, and we can see that even with white Americans when they move to Europe, they expect that because I'm American, I'm supposed to have certain privileges, and there's always that clash. Yeah. It's an American thing. Yeah. It's just that sense of entitlement that they've been born with it, that they're the best in the world. It goes and clash with the locals and the law of the land, and that's the issue. But then if you find and one thing I liked about Miss Kia when she was talking about how they do stuff is I think she and her group became smart enough and embraced the locals and try to do more things through the locals as they're setting themselves up. But if you listen to other people who are trying to come up, because they assume because if I do this, I'm supposed to get it. If I do this, I'm supposed to get it. The thing is, what Africa wants in terms of immigration is different from what America wants. America wants workers. Africa wants investors. They will give priority to somebody who comes with more money. They will not care if you look like us and you're just bringing money that is not helping the economy to them, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I guess the issue is that there's a lack of understanding that that the way people on the continent relate to race, because we don't
Yes.
have to deal with racism day to
Right.
day.
Day to day.
You know, like sometimes hour by hour, like they have to, because they're working with people of different races.
Right.
The average Kenyan is
Doesn't-
not
no.
dealing with that.
Yes.
So the way people connect to race, and the other lady we hosted some years, I think 2 years ago, Brittany Caldwell, explained it so well. You know, and I have, you know, like I have this feeling that women, you know, like Black American women who go there are going with a very different mindset from Black American
Well,
men.
they're not passport.
They're
Whatever
not
the
passport
opposite
sisters.
of that will be. Yes.
Because, you know, like even having talked to, you know, like for example, like Brittany Caldwell, she said it so well. She was like, if you come here as a Black American, don't come with all that, you know, like the way blackness is a thing here.
Yeah.
It's not a thing there, you know,
Because
like where
that's the normal thing.
yeah, it's
Everybody's
not.
black.
Yeah.
So you know, like people are not gonna think about you in as, oh, this is, you know, like you know, like a Black American, you know, brother, we have to treat them this way or that way, and then, you know, like even those kind of things of like sometimes how white people get treated. Yes, and we see these things, but again, you have to understand, like the norms there are entirely very different. And I think with now people staying there for a little bit of longer periods, people are slowly gonna start understanding this. I idealistically, I'm one of those people who's like, you know, like if they wanna come back home, yes, let them come back home. But then practically, I know it's not as easy as we want to imagine. It is, and like Mika said, the reality is the Western world is looking for workers. Africa
looking for
is looking
investors.
for investors. And as an investor, we're not talking about you've saved $30,000, then you're not coming with $30,000. That's not considered an investor in Kenya. As an investor, we're talking about you're coming with maybe $1 million or more at the bare minimum, and that's even on the lower side, which is why, you know, like I have advised, you know, like some of them who are looking for residency, I'm like, you're better off if you pool your resources together, and you're coming in as an entity with 10 or 20 million dollars. Trust me, someone will pay attention.
100%.
Yeah.
That's a ton of money.
Yeah,
Not
but then if
to-
you're coming with 50K, 70K, the reality, it would be good if someone paid attention to your
You
50K
will come
and
with your
70K.
$200,000. People will eat it. And
Yeah.
You won't get anything.
Araka.
Yeah, people will eat it.
Can I also say something else I've heard about is some of them are using local people, and this is probably more biased there because it's been men. They use local women to gain residency, and there's like to them. So the people they end up duping. I don't know what else to use but that word. They
So
think
wanatafuta mapepa.
nani.
Wanatafuta mapepa the same way
Yeah.
people come
And,
here.
yeah,
And
they
also-
look-
yeah,
and then they will use your resources or your information to get land, vitu kama hizo. Because like they, you know, we're together, we can buy these things. That's
Yeah.
that's the entry point that some of them are trying to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I said there's a time I was so for the idea. I thought it was good, like you coming back to Africa, like escape this oppression we go through here. But then when I start hearing these stories are coming out from some of these people and what they're doing, I'm like, is it benefiting Africa, or the communities are going into? Is it more?
It's parasitic.
That's the one. Yeah.
But okay, two things. One, I'll speak of exceptionalism is everywhere. Unfortunately, as human beings, we always want to take advantage of somebody or something just to make, to also you look like your body. This whole exceptionalism of African American, it's not like it's the first time it's happening in Africa, right? Remember Liberia.
Yes.
Liberia was settled by former
freed slaves, yeah.
Freed slaves, yeah. And then they thought they were above the
locals.
natives,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And then what did
wow.
that bring? Yeah, it brought classism. They brought classism. They thought that they were above the dudes who live there, right? And we ended up, if you go down history, we end up getting to Kina Samuel Doe, where, all that genocide and all that stuff.
And that classism is still there until today, even in Liberia with those English names, Taylor, Johnson.
Yeah.
Like you're considered in that.
Right.
Because they're descendants now of the people who are brought back.
Right. So now, the next point I was talking about is like, in Zambia, I think in Zambia or Zimbabwe, one of the two countries, there's a huge community of Jamaicans who are moving back to either one of those countries, right? So to me, I'm kind of broad macro like view, like, okay, this is all, it's coming down to that whole idea of identity, right? These are people who left, who not left, but they were taken away from generations wide, and now they're trying to have that connection, right? Now, there are some people who have the right intention of trying to be like, hey, I just want to have that identity. I want to identify myself as coming from this place. But then, as with human nature, there's always the other part of it, the other people who just want to come and take advantage of the situation, and hence we have all these passport bros, so people who are trying to take advantage of the situation to be scrupulous and do silly stuff.
But like the unique thing about American exceptionalism, like you say, there's exceptionalism everywhere. The unique thing about American exceptionalism is that they are heedless about it. They are not aware. They're not aware. There's that exceptionalism where unajua mimi mjukuu wa Masai, but then you understand that you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. But with the American exceptionalism, they are like, if you talk to them, you'll understand that they are totally clueless and heedless. That saying something as simple as, I'm coming here with $30,000 and I'm looking to employ some people. They're totally clueless. Like in their mind, they're coming there. Like these people have problems.
Yeah.
So
we see that on TV.
So they're not understanding how come they're not assisting me to get what I need to do, and I'm here to help.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have that stuck in their mindset, and that's the reason why you will find a 17-year-old American will very proudly tell you that I am going to a village in rural Kenya to build huts for them. Just sit and think for a moment. Like, at what point did someone sit and think that me as a 17-year-old who's just been playing PlayStation here, that now there's a village in Kenya where people have no idea how to build huts.
Yeah.
So now we are going to go there.
Yeah.
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 And help
you
them.
get volunteer hours.